Hey guys, Rory from Rakombu here, and today I have got some time with the brand new Peugeot 308 GTI. Here it is. Look at that. Pretty amazing, huh? Yeah, actually no, the actual cars are over here. We are at Donington race circuit, and I've been hooning around the track in these pretty much all day now, so I thought I'd bring you a little bit of a hands-on look at what's going on here. Amazing fun, these cars, really good fun. It's available in two different versions, a 250 horsepower car and a 270 horsepower car. It's about $1.50 difference in terms of price, but in terms of what's going on under the surface, is actually a great deal. Let's talk about some of the physical aspects first of all. It is one of the only cars actually that has like the name of the company written on the front. So there's Peugeot right there, plus their lion. And if we look a little bit closer, we won't make it out here, but basically all of them have a red line running along the front splitter there. Even in cars that are a different color, they've got red on there. So let's look at the lights. Plenty of nice detail in there. And if you look on there, you can see it's full LEDs. You might be able to make that out, which is also pretty cool. One of the differences between the 250 horsepower and the 270 horsepower, apart from the power obviously, is the brakes. So on the more powerful car you get 380mm discs, absolutely huge discs, and the stopping power is pretty phenomenal. You can definitely feel the difference between this 380 and the I think 330mm discs on the 250 horsepower car. Plus you also get larger rims. These alloys are 19s. They are 18s on the 250 brake horsepower version, but even though these wheels are larger, they're actually about 2.5 kilos lighter than the 18s, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look around the back of the car. You might have seen the 208 GTI, which is very aggressively styled, bit of a boy racer's car really, but the 308 is it's quite sensible looking really, but still got a little bit of hidden aggression. This is a 250 horsepower, so we can compare the alloy wheel designs here. A little bit meaner on the 270, and also the size of the brakes while we're here. Let's check them out. So a little bit smaller and also a different design. Don't give you quite as much stopping power as on the larger brake over here. So very good. Let's jump inside and take a look inside this thing. You've got some nice sports seats in there, not quite as sporty as the 208 GTI, but still quite sporty. Let's see if we've got some room in the back there. Probably a decent amount. I'll try and get in. Yeah, so my knees are kind of touching the front seat, but having said that, there's plenty of adjustability, and I can almost certainly jump in the front right now and show you that I can move the seat forward. I'm about 6 foot, and I reckon I'll be quite comfortable in adjusting the seat forward slightly. No problem whatsoever. So I'll shut the door. Actually, I'll show you the door before I shut it. Some nice intricate detailing on the door handles there. The red is poking through, plus some red stitching. Quite a nice design, decent amount of space in the door bins. And if we look around, you can see there's not an awful lot that gives away that this is a GTI. It's a quite, understated cabin really. The only thing that give it away are the red line at the top of the steering wheel to show you where the center position is, and also the GTI logo on the steering wheel. Plus up here, you've got the GTI logo on the instruments. But I quite like this cabin. It's really nice. You get a big chunky gear lever here. Probably a bit oversized considering the steering wheel itself is absolutely tiny. It's like a go-kart steering wheel. But a very minimalist center console. Not a lot going on. But here we have the key. Pretty simplistic. Start button on the center console. And she is fired up. So in the center we've got a touchscreen, nothing too fancy, but it gives you access to all your basic controls. What you'll notice here is that there's no dedicated controls for your heating. It's all done through the touchscreen, which to some people might be quite annoying. I always think you should have a dedicated set of controls for your heating rather than having to root around through menus to try and find exactly where each setting is, but I'll show you where they are anyway. Up here you've got buttons, shortcut buttons around the screen. If you tap that one at the top left, you can adjust the temperature and the fan speed, so it's easy enough to get to grips with once you know how. In terms of volume and media, what is this? What's going on here? There's the volume button. All right, cool. That's always good. Anyway, enough of that. You got your car functions in here to show you some car settings, parking sensors, whether they're on or off, so whether your tires are inflated properly, etc. And obviously your navigation here. It's not multi-touch, so you can't pinch and zoom and all that. You have to do that via these shortcut buttons here. You've got your telephone over there, and your settings button up here. Plus there are a load of apps in here as well, so you can get shortcuts, if I can find where they are, find shortcuts to your nearest petrol station, find out how much petrol costs, etc. Where is it? Alright, you might have noticed this is not the most intuitive system in the world, and I can't actually find where the apps are. It might not be in this car, but anyway, you get the point. The steering wheel itself, got some nice detail on there, got some red poking through. Like I said, it's very tiny. You can change your audio source, you can change your volume settings, and you can cycle through menus via that one there. Down here on the center console, you've got a sport button, and if you hold that down, it gives the car slightly more responsiveness in terms of the throttle response, and makes it sound a lot better as well. So let's rev it up. That's it without the sport mode engaged. So if I turn sport on, it turns red, and it's a bit deeper. One thing I have noticed is that even down here it says sport, which makes sense, but up here on the center console it's dynamic mode. So obviously someone's made a mistake there. It should be consistent. It should be sports mode deactivated or activated, but they obviously no real consistency with that. Might as well show you down here. You got your 12-volt power outlet, you got your auxiliary input, you got USB. In the center console, it's just storage, and you have a single solitary cup holder in the middle. The French don't like their cup holders for some reason, but yeah, there you go. So that's that. I'll reel off a couple of the stats for this car. In the 270 version, you're looking at 0 to 60 in 6 seconds dead, which is really quick. Honda Type R does it in 5.7, I think, but even in a slower car it's only 0.2 slower, 6.2, so that's pretty decent. In terms of handling, what you get in this car is you get a torsion differential in the faster car, and what that means is it kind of allows it to go around corners a lot quicker than the standard 250 horsepower car. I've tried it out and it really does work. Basically, in practice, what happens is you can go around the corner in the 250 car and it begins to understeer. But in this 270 car over here, because it's got the torsion differential, what you do is you accelerate really early as you leave the corner, or even like in the middle of the corner, and it drags it around the corner and allows you to to get on the corner and kind of get into that bend and accelerate out really, really quickly. So there is a big difference in performance between the slower car. Obviously, part of that is down to the sheer amount of power you get on offer and the acceleration, but also in terms of cornering. So I definitely recommend you get the more powerful car. It's not even that much more expensive, like $1,500 or something. So definitely get the 270 horsepower version, not the 250. Although the 250 is still a lot of fun, the 270 is definitely more fun. So yeah, that, my friends, is the Peugeot 308 GTI. One thing I wanted to show you, they're not actually on these cars, but part of the finish available on one of these cars is something called coupe franche. Coupe franche basically means, I've got my toy car here, it means that it's available with this finish here. It starts with all the car painted red, and then they basically sand down the rear section and then paint it black and give it this kind of half red, half black finish. I think you can also get majority black and then a bit of red on the back. It's not on these big cars, not on these particular ones. There are some further down there somewhere which might have it on there, but yeah, what do you think? You like the coupe franche? Standard? Coupe franche? Standard? I'm not really sure. The coupe franche is growing on me, but because the 308 is not really mental looking, it's kind of sedate. I kind of think that it's nice to have it tarted up with a bit of fancy paintwork on it. Plus, you know, it gives you the impression that you're driving two separate colour cars. 1 minute when someone's behind you, they'll see you and think you're in a black car, and the next minute, oh, you're in a red car. So keeps them guessing. There's part of the track exercise we were doing earlier, just hooning around. Anyway, a hell of a lot of fun, these things. Hopefully we'll have a full proper video review at some point in the near future, but right now I just wanted to let you know what it was like to drive. Incredibly fun, incredibly fast, and also what it was like to be inside, etc. So stick around to recombu.com to learn more about this, read my thoughts in a full review, and also make sure you subscribe to this channel to see a future review in full about the 308 GTI. And also, if you have any questions about the car, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and explain them as best I can. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.